Okay, now that you have attached your DitoGear together, what you're probably going to want to do is you're going to want to go to the website, which is DitoGear.com, and you can go to their support section. Of course, you can go to your product section, whatever, but you can go to the support section here, and you're going to be like, okay, help, I need the manuals. And the manual for all of the DitoGear stuff is right here. And you can just pretty much download whatever you need. The ones, I mean, you're going to need them for every single one, but the ones that's most important, most likely, is the Dragon Bridge user manual. And this will have some settings that you're going to need in the future. But for right now, we are going to go to the other section, which would be the Arduino website. And here, you're going to want to download the latest version of Arduino. You can click on download, and it'll take you to the section. Of course, you can go through all the select whichever one you want to use. But I've already jumped ahead and done that. I'm going to close my Safari because I don't need that right now. First thing you're going to notice is you're going to turn your camera on, and you're going to get an EOS utility window to pop open. I'm going to click quit. If you have a Nikon camera, you're going to get something a little different. And then after that has been turned off, you can go to your DragonFrame and click on that. DragonFrame should open up. Now, my settings have already been preset because I've been using my DitoGear for a while. But, you know, I'll try to walk you through as best I can. So here we go. We're in a new session, so I'm going to create a new scene. I have DitoGear 001. It's going to tell me can't do it. Can't do it. So what we'll do is we'll cancel this out. We'll create DitoGear 2. All right, and we'll do it in the same folder area. Boom. And Shazam, it opens up the window. It's going to ask me once your DitoGear Omni slider is connected, it's going to ask you, hey, blah 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 this, right? But in all honesty, it's not what's going to happen is your first time you open it up, you're going to be like, nothing happened. It's going to give you a little warning window maybe. And you're going to go, where do I go? So you go to Scenes, Connections, and then you're going to go here. You'll see all these like DMX controller, ArcMoco 1, ArcMoco 2. You're going to install, or you're going to connect, right? If it's, let's do this. Let's say it's disconnected. You click Connect, and you're going to get this window. And of course, you select this, which is the only option right now. And connection required for shooting, I leave that clicked, and I move on. I just close this window, and we should be ready to rock to set up the ArcMoco control. Now you see there's nothing here right now. I have the lens cap on. There, the lens cap has been taken off, and yet there's still nothing. So the first thing we need to do is we need to set up our motion control camera thingy. And we need to go to the ArcMoco tool. So over here in the upper right hand corner, you'll see the ArcMoco control little button. I'm going to click that, and we'll open this window here. And you can't control anything right now because there's nothing in your lower left hand corner to allow you to select where you want to go and what you want to do. What we're going to do first is we're going to select our axes. So click on this little icon over here and go add axes. All right. And the first thing you probably want to do is figure out where you're going to put all your, so to speak, different axes. And the first axis on my machine is the slider. So not slicer, slider. There we go. I can't spell, by the way. And I'm going to select ArcMoco 1. That's the channel that we pre-assigned earlier. Channel 1, of course, because you have 8 channels. Actually, you got more than that. You have 16 channels. But channel 1. Numbering is continuous. And then we get to this stuff. Steps per unit, iotas, steps per second, settle time. This needs to be dealt with. To deal with this, you need to have your manual open. All right, so I actually have my DitoGear Dragon Bridge user manual, and this is where you're going to find your settings. Now, to help explain what this is, you have max steps per second. This is how fast the machine is going to respond to the command that you give it. And this steps per unit is the actual individual steps it's going to take. So, and then of course backlash. But for this Omni slider stepper, right, and that's what we're dealing with, the Omni slider, right? you have 80 steps per unit, right? And then 35,000 max steps per second. So if we were to set this to, let's say, 500, it would go very slow. If we set it to 35,000, it'll go very fast, okay? And then also here, max steps per unit, 264 and 35. All right, so what are we going to do first? First thing we're going to do is we're going to go here. I'm going to put 84 in my steps per unit. And we go back here and check it again. Steps per unit, 84, slider, stepper, great. And then what I want to do here is I want to make it, and I'm going to be conservative, I'm going to say 10,000. There we go. And we'll give it a settle time of maybe 1 second's fine. It's kind of long, to be honest, in some instances, but I have my Omni slider on a C-stands, so actually a 1 second settle time is pretty good because you will get some vibration out of the C-stands if you don't have them weighted down, so like they are right now. Okay, so everything else we're going to leave alone. There is the backlash compensation, which you can deal with when you see here, backlash, backlash, backlash. All right, but since I'm using the first setting, the Omni slider stepper, we're fine. So I'm gonna hit OK. Now, here's the fun part. Now we need to add the other axes if you have them. If you don't have them, you can go ahead and jump ahead. I believe my first one is pan. So I'm going to type pan here. Pan. I'm going to go back to here. ArcMoco 1. Channel 2. All right. Not channel 1 because channel 1 is where the slider is. Pan will be on your channel 2. That's the input channel that you used for the little dragon bridge. All right. The next thing is going to be in the steppers. So with the pan and tilt, you see here actually under head for both axes, because this is the Omni head, there's 485 steps per unit. And of course the max steps per second is different. Now the thing is with cameras on this head, you can get it to move pretty fast, but it's not going to move as fast as the slider. The slider actually, once you add the Omni head to the slider, your max steps per second will dramatically slow down the movement. But if you're doing like motion control or you're doing even time lapse, it doesn't even matter. You're not going to be doing live action with the animation setup. So we're going to go 465 here. You sit here and control your millimeters, centimeters, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to leave it blank. And I'm going to go, once again, 10,000. All right. And we're going to have a settle time of 1 second. Okay. Now you have the pan, you have the slider. Now let's add another one. Let's add another axis. This is going to be the tilt. Tilt. ArcMoco 1, channel 3, and 465 is what we had. 465. Oops, get rid of that 0. And we're going to do another 10,000. Boom, 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 boom. 10,000. All right. And then I'm going to hit OK. Now, remember how we had that backlash? We can probably put that in as well. Let's put in 0.32 degrees. So to go back here, we click on that pan, backlash compensation, 0.32. Okay. This one as well. Whoops, I didn't do a settle time there. 32. Let's do a settle time of 1 second. Boom. All right, so now we're all set up. So now that we have our slider, pan, and tilt connected, we are going to move on to the next section, which will actually be automating the Moco controller. All right, stick around and check out the next video.